Stephen A. Smith, First Take, Big Perk, all together, came on today and gave huge compliments towards Caitlin Clark, huge praise, and not only there, they were on Twitter as well, giving love to Caitlin Clark, and people seem to not like it, man.
But she's Caitlin Clark. She put on a show in her old stomping grounds in Iowa versus Brazil.
Like your uncle, Stephen A. Smith yelled throughout Thanksgiving dinner. However, the Cowboys and LeBron weren't involved this time. Not at all. The focus was on Caitlin Clark's prospects of earning MVP as a rookie. Stephen A. delivered one of the most ridiculous and hilarious arguments ever. Going full Shakespeare meets ESPN, he yelled, raged, and may have been sweating through his suit. If Caitlin isn't your MVP yet, Stephen A. might just shout until you agree. Stephen A. Smith is a multifaceted personality. Subtlety just isn't one of those facets. He's boisterous, passionate, and unapologetically loud, often seemingly allergic to silence. When he launches into a monologue, it's less a conversation and more an audible earthquake. This time, Caitlin Clark was the epicenter. Yes, Mr. Loudness Level 100 unleashed his signature verbal pyrotechnics, all thanks to the WNBA's newest walking bucket, logo-range sharpshooter, and part-time ego crusher, proving exactly why she might just win MVP this season.
And this three-pointer that was deeper than the three she hit when she broke the all-time NCAA scoring record, Big Perk. What are your expectations for Caitlin Clark this season?
Man, Stephen A., she is just different. She's special. Just a different type of electricity, man. Did you hear the roar of the crowd while that shot was in flight? Like, I'm expecting big things from her, especially MVP type conversation things. Like, I think she's ready. She know it's her second year. She know what type of physicality it's gonna take. Look like she's always in great shape. Never afraid of the moment. Again, we're talking about Caitlin Clark here. The spotlight been on her for years. She's not going to shy away from it. I expect her to be in the MVP conversation.
Well, let's remember this. Last year, in her rookie campaign, it was immediately after she had gone to the national championship game in the NCAA tournament, and then less than 2 months later, she's got a WNBA season where she started and played all 40 games, finished as a unanimous Rookie of the Year, all WNBA first team, finished fourth in league MVP voting, and then I'm looking at the regular season.
Let's face it, Stephen A. isn't just a talker. No, this guy is a full-blown showman. He never stops talking about basketball. He takes the table, tosses arguments like confetti, and screams rhetorical questions at the furniture. So when Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA and started hitting shots from what felt like the zip code next door, you knew it was only a matter of time before Stephen A. crafted a full-length theatrical performance about her. And boy, did he deliver! Stephen A. articulated what we all knew but were too afraid to say, in a dramatic, caffeinated eruption of words, finger jabs, and questionable comparisons. That girl could be Caitlin Clark. MVP level, no doubt. She's the kind of talent that makes front office executives regret every draft pick they've ever made and forces seasoned defenders to reconsider their life choices.
What does she mean to women's sports?
I just think that she's elevating the profile of women's sports in a way that most women should deeply appreciate. She's a phenomenal player. She's a phenomenal shooter. I call her the Steph Curry of women's basketball. I've been calling her that since last year.
Still, he analyzed it like a man touched by the basketball gods. You could almost hear the ESPN cameras tremble as he launched into his hot take. Somewhere between, she's a superstar, and it's not just the points, with all the elegance of a rhino doing ballet. He probably scared a few producers and blew out a mic. But the message was crystal clear. She's draining layups and logo threes, making defenders look like they're moving through peanut butter. And no, it's not over the top. Caitlin Clark is in her second Tuesday. She's just getting started. It's not like Stephen A. had some divine revelation. Let's be honest, the guy's been riding the Caitlin Clark wave longer than most people have been watching the WNBA. While we were still dreaming of a 4-point arc, he was out here selling her as the second coming of Steph Curry, only with better TikTok angles, a splash of Sue Bird's court vision, and Diana Taurasi's fire.
You want to promote the sport. You put that girl up in there, and people were appalled at that notion. That was the subject.
However, this is where things started to get pretty intense. Stephen Yes' speculation about Caitlin Clark winning MVP wasn't enough. No, not at all. He made it unmistakably clear she should be the MVP right now. In his words, when a true great treats professional athletes like this, why even bother with the usual MVP debate? This wasn't just an opinion. It was a bold, definitive statement that echoed across the airwaves with the authority of someone who's watched every sport on the planet and knows exactly what greatness looks like. Smith's take, essentially saying, forget waiting, flipped the conversation on its head. The message was clear. Caitlin Clark didn't just show up to compete. She showed up to take command. She came to rewrite the rules and force players, coaches, and fans alike to reconsider what dominance really looks like. Suddenly, the MVP conversation wasn't just some vague hypothetical chatter. It had become a full-blown televised thesis. Televisions across the country buzzed with the same kind of fervor usually reserved for playoff games and political debates.
What's crazy is you had Monica McNutt, Andrea, Shanae, all on the panel right before the game, and they had a graphic, an interesting graphic that popped up, showing that Caitlin Clark had the best odds to win the MVP this year.
But really, why stop at MVP? Honestly, that might be underselling it. Let's take a moment to appreciate the sheer absurdity of Caitlin Clark's rookie campaign. This isn't just a strong start, it's a basketball fever dream. Statisticians are rocking in corners, mumbling about efficiency ratings and true shooting percentages as if they've glimpsed the divine. She's snagging rebounds like they're magnetized to her hands, dishing assists with the precision of a surgeon, and piling on points like she's grinding VC in a video game, ankle-breaking crossovers included. Thanks to her handle, more defenders are headed to physical therapy than ever before. She's playing like she's got cheat codes turned on. Pulling up from the parking lot with poise, range, and nerves of steel, she looks like she was engineered in a top-secret lab to be the perfect basketball player. Equal parts Steph Curry and Diana Taurasi, with the killer instinct of an assassin. We're witnessing a rookie season that isn't just impressive, it's redefining the game.
So let's start with our 2025 WNBA MVP, and that has to go to the one and only Caitlin Clark. You can say I'm glazing, you can say I'm hyping her up too much, but I truly think that this second year for Caitlin Clark is going to be like nothing we have ever seen.
Caitlin Clark is more than just a rising star. She's a force so impactful it makes you wonder if the WNBA secretly engineered a generational cheat code just to stir the pot. She's redefining what a rookie is supposed to look like. Most first-years might stumble after a rough shooting night, go 2-4, 11, miss a few defensive rotations, maybe even ride the bench. Not Caitlin. She drops 30, nails a buzzer beater, and then signs autographs for teary-eyed kids right after dismantling defensive schemes drawn up by grown adults with mortgages. Naturally, Stephen A. did what he always does when faced with greatness. He exploded. But don't overlook the brilliance behind the moment. He wasn't just praising her, he was testifying. Like a man trying to lead a gospel choir, win a debate, and cook Thanksgiving dinner all at once, his celebration of Caitlin reached about 3 octaves too high. You half expected him to start levitating.
Got a girl here who's box office in Caitlin Clark. She is box office. We can lament it all we want to, but the fact of the matter is, Caitlin Clark is box office. And we got to get that out the way. And I'll get into all of that a little bit more in just a second because it's very, very important that we point this out. She breaks, she fills seats. She brings the cameras. She brings national publicity.
The analogies were inevitable because, let's face it, Stephen A. Smith can't go 5 minutes without name-dropping some basketball legend, as if it were an automatic reflex. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird, those are the holy trinity of basketball comparisons. Like a speedrunner hunting for the perfect NBA 2K My Team lineup, Stephen A. raced through the names of basketball greats from every era. He was early, too. As he reeled off the stars, You could almost hear him mentally tallying up the icons. But here's the problem. None of it was necessary for Caitlin Clark. She didn't need to adopt the habits or styles of others. She didn't have to be the next Bird or the next Magic. Caitlin wasn't striving for mystical perfection. She wasn't looking for a next title. No, Caitlin Clark is her own first name. And that's more than enough. 1 minute at a time, she's forging her own path and changing the game on her own terms. While the comparisons are nice, they don't tell her story. She's writing it herself. And honestly, that's far more exciting.
Talking about her. And who's to say they ain't gonna lose again and not win a championship? We're still talking about her. Remember, when Bird and Magic, as phenomenal as they were, the champions that they were, there came a point where despite the greatness of them individuals and the greatness of their teams collectively, the Hall of Famers they were playing with, we were still talking about Jordan before he won the title. Tim, am I lying? Wendy, am I lying? We were talking about him. When's his time? Because we were clamoring for it. And I'm telling you, that's what people, when it comes to women's basketball, are going to be doing with Caitlin Clark especially.
There's truth buried beneath all the commotion, even when Stephen A. is angrily criticizing his co-hosts and stuffing every sports cliche into his praise of Caitlin Clark's brilliance. She's the real deal. Clark isn't just a scorer. This unicorn with a headband and fire can be used as a floor general, a crowd drawer, a shot creator, a playmaker, and yes, a stat-padding phenomenon. Now, a Stephen A. rant wouldn't be complete without some wild analogies. At one point, he compares her range to missile weaponry. Then, he goes on about how defenders seem to have wandered into a Caitlin Clark horror film. Honestly, he's not wrong. It's like watching someone detonate a bomb with 0.8 seconds left when Caitlin Clark plays defense after a brief rest. She's everywhere. Blink, and she's already 3 steps ahead of you. The highlight reel was uploaded before defenders even realized she had the ball. But here's the thing. More than just razzle-dazzle is needed for the MVP conversation. She impacts team performance, shows leadership, and delivers on reliability, among other things.
This girl is a superstar. I've been saying for years, I keep telling everybody she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, college or pro. She is a superstar.
However, Triple emphasized that Caitlin has met every one of those criteria. Because opponents struggle to figure out how to stop her, her team wins more games. For her, networks are adjusting their schedules. She's not just a player, she's an economic force. And let's not forget about ticket sales. This kind of frenzy hasn't been seen in the WNBA since Lisa Leslie's iconic slow-motion dunk. That moment was considered the pinnacle, too. Just being near Caitlin when she's in town requires 2 security guards and a little bit of magic. Naturally, the skeptics crawl out of the woodwork when success hits. They complain, citing her lack of experience and clutching their 1998 signed bobbleheads, saying, "She hasn't earned it yet." Stephen A.'s remark was the verbal equivalent of a napalm strike. Impact, not age, is what defines an MVP. And Caitlin Clark, she's leaving a crater.
And to speak to her, to be around her, she's got charisma, she's got style, she's got bravado, she's got class, she's smart as hell. Communicates her thoughts very, very well. She is so incredibly marketable that what she is doing on the collegiate level, her coming into the NBA and the WNBA, you could just feel, I don't want to use the word resentment at all because it's not fair to women basketball players out there who may have critiqued her. But what I'm saying is that when you're talking about her greatness, it is perfectly okay for those who have been great to say, okay.
MVP might as well stand for Most Valuable Problem of the Season, because that's exactly how she's viewed by opposing coaches. She steps back for a 30-foot shot with the confidence of someone who knows they own the arena, sleeps less, ages faster, and instantly calculates defensive strategies. Stephen A. didn't just go off, he exploded. The guy was yelling as if Caitlin had personally stolen his taxes. But beneath every over-the-top, theatrical word, there was pure adoration. Caitlin Clark is taking a completely different approach, and even a skilled screamer like Smith couldn't fully capture it. Let's also talk about the vibes, the Caitlin Clark effect, the aura. All away games are now instant sellouts. ESPN cameramen are covering every single one of her warm-up routines as if it were the Super Bowl halftime show. The audience, they're getting used to seeing her everywhere. And in an effort to avoid becoming memes, even the crew is adjusting their duties in the middle of the day.
Love this. I really do. I love this young lady. I had the pleasure of doing an event with her, during Iowa's homecoming. My man Mark Shapiro for WNBA took me down there, and we were a panelist. 10,000 people showed up. It was absolutely phenomenal. This girl is the best.
Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith is having what can only be described as a profound religious experience back on ESPN. His voice rises to a pitch that can only be compared to an angelic choir. The man's passion is so intense it could move mountains, or at least send your TV into a momentary panic, as his voice hits frequencies that are probably illegal for daytime broadcasting. If the Angels had been sipping coffee and had just witnessed the most awe-inspiring performance of their celestial existence, Stephen A.'s energy would still be enough to move mountains. His excitement is so loud that even Molly Karam is shifting in her seat, fumbling with her headset. The tension is so thick you can almost hear a coffee cup spontaneously combust somewhere in the studio. But here's the thing, his message is crystal clear. If you're a basketball fan, if you understand the game, and if you truly believe in those rare, incredible moments that make the sport what it is, you need to write Caitlin Clark's name in all caps when you vote for MVP. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a sermon. And brother, this sermon is on fire.
Caitlin Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better. And I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player.
There are no exceptions to this rule. Passion. This player is having a seismic effect on the league's landscape. WNBA Twitter is on fire, with fans arguing over stats as if they were fighting for custody. Teams are exchanging highlight reels of Caitlin, effortlessly torching defenders, almost like a comedic roast. Yet, despite all the theatrics, Caitlin Clark continues to score as if it were second nature. She smiles, unbothered, as if she hasn't just shattered your playoff dreams, and casually dishes out 10 assists because, well, why not? Rather than asking for praise, she drops 35 points and waits for the bouquets to arrive in the mail. Stephen A. presented it like a passionate TED Talk that, in some ways, had more shouting than a car crash. And just look at the crowded MVP conversation. Legends are being created every day. Sure, there are still names like Aya Wilson and Brianna Stewart, but Caitlin's performances, they're downright jaw-dropping. All-star, MVP candidate, pyrotechnician, slam poet, and rookie of the year, all wrapped into one.
Because when she came into the WNBA, for 22 plus years, they had been flying commercial. They were begging for chartered flights. She arrives there, and 2 weeks later, they got chartered flights. She automatically and instantaneously improved the conditions. Attendance is still lagging. WNBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games? Are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible.
Stephen A. wasn't wrong, even if it felt like he was trying to summon Zeus with each of his utterances. There is a genuine Caitlin Clark. If that bothers you, prepare to be outdone by a rookie whose idea of casual gaming includes manipulating the space-time continuum. Remember, the MVP award isn't just about legacy, even as the debates heat up and Stephen A. continues to shatter preconceptions. That's the reality. Caitlin Clark has become the gravitational center of the WNBA universe. Still don't believe it? Wait until she strolls out to half court, gives the camera a wink, and smiles casually while she dismantles your defense. Caitlin Clark has the potential to be the M of human foghorns, the mayor of maximum volume, and the king of hot takes. Even Stephen A. Smith can put aside his theatrical flair long enough to acknowledge that. And, yes, she most likely already has.